Hello everyone, so today we're going to be making a leftover dish. It's actually a traditional German dish. It's called Schinken Nudel, which translated means ham and noodles. This is best made if you have a leftover ham. So the first thing we're going to start with, I have a pot of boiling water. I'm going to pour in an entire box of noodles. The water is salted, and I like using fusilli noodles, which are the spiraled noodles. So just have a look. We'll bring the water back up to a boil. And then these noodles cook only 3 minutes. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my other element, get the noodles on there. Oh, that's really hot. Let me just get a towel. So I'm going to move this over here, get my noodles boiling, and over here we're going to get a pan heated up. And in the pan, just cover the bottom with some oil. Don't use olive oil, it's better to use a vegetable or canola oil. Get that around the bottom of the pan. You're going to need one small, finely chopped, one medium-sized, finely chopped onion. The ham, like I said, it's best to use leftover ham. It has more flavor, and I believe that's probably what the recipe was designed for. I mean, it's an older recipe, probably from wartime, I would assume. Anyway, so I ended up having 4 cups of cubed ham. There you go. You can see I've cubed it into probably about 1/2-inch pieces, but like I said, it can be a rough chop. This recipe is not an exact science. Also have about 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic. And once the noodles are done cooking, we're going to reserve some of the water. Just take a mug and fill it halfway with some of the water before you drain your noodles. So here we go. My pan is getting warm. So the first thing we're going to want to do is to brown the ham. So put the ham in. There we go. And now we're just going to let the ham brown. Don't stir it too much. You get a better sear when you leave your meat sit. So I'm going to just let it, fry for probably 2 or 3 minutes. Give it a stir, do it again. Once that's done, I'll be back and we'll continue the recipe. Okay, we're back. So at this stage, the ham has browned nicely. I'm going to take out a piece just so you can see. It's just starting to get some color. That's all you want. In the meantime, my noodles were finished, so I've drained them and I've held back about 1/2 mug full of the liquid. So at this stage, just make yourself a little spot in the middle of the pan. Put in your garlic. Just let that cook off a little bit. Incidentally, while your ham is frying, it's going to start releasing some liquid. Don't worry about it. It's going to look very saucy for a few minutes, but the heat will evaporate the water content and you'll be back to basically just having the oil left in your pan, which is what you want. So there we go. My garlic's brown. Let's mix that all together. At this stage, we're going to add the onions. This is real comfort food. My son is over today and this is what he asked for supper. And I thought, well, it's a good opportunity to show you guys how to make it. So now we're going to keep frying this on a medium heat until the onions become translucent, almost beginning to brown. And at the same time, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. And you know me, I prefer my shakers. So, I mean, a good way to judge this is just make sure it's a layer over the entire surface. Same with the salt. Don't overdo the salt at this stage because ham itself is salty. And the noodles will also have cooked in salt. So keep this frying until the onions are tender and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So now the onions have been frying for about 5 minutes on a medium heat. The first step where I fried the ham, that was on a higher heat, and that also took about 5 minutes. So far total cook time we're at 10 minutes, guys. I've got my noodles in my pot already. They've been drained but not rinsed. Never rinse your noodles. So to this, now we're going to add the slightly Canadian part. We're going to pour in some maple syrup. Just drizzle it over the top. That was 1/8 of a cup. And this is going to help the ham caramelize even more and the onions. Just let that cook down a little bit. It'll probably take about 3 minutes or so. In the meantime, pour in half a cup of frozen peas. Give that a stir. This is actually a recipe you can get at restaurants in Germany, so it's not just something that the home cook makes. It's quite well known over there. And my kids have always loved this. So if you've got little guys at home, give this a try. They'll like it just as much as the adults do. So we'll let this fry. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. So now to this, we're going to be adding some of the pasta liquid. The reason that you use the liquid from the cooking pasta is that the noodles give off their starches into the water. So what you basically end up with is water that's already got some starch in it, which really acts as a thickening agent. So, I mean, you can use that technique whenever you're making a pasta dish with a cream sauce or a wine sauce. Always reserve some of the liquid. And if your sauce is too runny, you can always pour some of that in and it will help thicken it. So I'm going to let this go another 2 or 3 minutes, but you don't need to be watching that. It's like watching water boil. So I'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. The peas are starting to break down, so that's a good indication that we're good to go. Kind of makes me laugh. Before, when I said I'll be back, I really should be saying that with my German accent. I'll be back. So now we're going to pour in some of that pasta liquid. The reason you're going to do this is to create a little bit more liquid with which you'll be able to coat the noodles. If I were just to pour this on the noodles, the dish might be a little bit dry. So let's pour in here. I'm going to do it slowly so that I can actually give you proper measurements. That was 1/4 cup. Which looks just to be perfect, so I'm going to turn off the heat. We're going to bring the noodles over. We're going to pour this on top of the noodles. Try to get all the liquid out, all the flavored oil and the pasta water. Pour that in and give it a toss. I've got to say this recipe is even better the next day, so if you like to cook ahead on the weekends for the week, this is a perfect recipe. Give it a good toss. Make sure all the noodles are coated. And at this stage, if you were done, you could put this in the fridge, covered obviously. And then it actually heats up best in the microwave, to be honest. So, the only thing we still need to do is we're going to cover the pot now. because as you can see it's still steaming. I'm going to get my lid, cover the pot, and let it steam in its own heat for a good 5 minutes, because that will really infuse the rest of the noodles with the flavor. Once that's done, taste it for salt and pepper. After that, I'll be back. So here you go, folks. This is Schinken Nudel, or ham and noodles. It's a comfort food. You're gonna love it. I've already bowled it up. I'm gonna bring my son his serving. He's been waiting. If you like this recipe or this video, please give my channel a like. Please subscribe. It really only takes a second of your time, but it really helps me out, so I would really, really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, it's great, made ahead. You can leave it in the fridge, make it on the weekend for the week, heat it up in the microwave. If not, like I said, don't forget to let it sit in its own steam for a good 5 minutes, which is what I've just finished doing. So, bon appetit, have yourselves a great day, and I'll catch you later.